Oh, it's 10th of July 2018 at 5 p.m. I was going to do a really depressing down video on how I saw the world at the moment today, and I because I mean it's getting to me. It's just something about it that's just this getting to me, and it's just becoming so hateful and so bitter. It's that the whole world is caught down here. Um, and I've been managing to get up here, but the world has dragged me down. It's just everywhere you look on YouTube now, it's negative. There's just nothing positive out there at all. There's nothing uplifting, nothing. And so eventually it gets you, and this is what happens. We get dragged into the dark zone. Yeah, so anyway, as luck would have it, Annie came along, and he started talking about. I can't remember what we're talking about, but yeah, I got to saying, I think, well, what I was thinking anyway, that was that the conversation drive. What drives conversation is a problem of some kind. And he was saying something about women, and that his mother in particular, um, oh, she, how did he put it? Uh, she wasn't interested in how things worked, just whether they worked or not. So I asked him to elaborate. He said, "Oh, computers and printers and stuff, technology." Um, so I sort of read a bit between the lines. I thought, well, okay, yeah, he was interested in how it works and what and guys are when they're younger, particularly. They like to know how everything works, cars, technology, all sorts of science things. Yeah, women typically aren't. I mean, I'm not saying all women don't. Some are very interested in it. But as a rule, women just want. It's like cars. It's just take it to the shop to get it fixed. I don't really want to know what it is. Whereas a guy would say, "Oh, yeah, well then you get ripped off. You're better off you know what's going on, and then at least they can't pull the wool over your eyes." That's the sort of stuff we'd say. Okay. I mean, I don't think there's much disputing that. I mean, it's neither here nor there. And I mean, really, should we hang a woman out to dry because she has no interest in technology or cars? I mean, let's face it. How much interest do we have in makeup? Or some other. Yeah, there'll be guys say, yeah, I show a lot of interest in it. Yeah, and I'd look at him and think, my God, get a life. But typically, we don't share the same problems or interest in the same problems. Like two guys can sit down and talk about a computer and fixing it. Two women can talk about problems with, applying makeup or something. Maybe I don't get you, or whatever problem they might have that we don't share. Um, it's. I got to thinking of it in terms of the Venn diagram. So, for really, when you get down and think, and you had to, and let's say problems are conversation drivers. Well, clearly, if you want to invent conversation, you want to create conversation between two people, a man and a woman. Yeah, you want conversation that's acceptable. That's not going to end up in an obvious shit fight. Okay. Um, it's not simple to do as you may think, because when you actually, and I tried to do this with Emily. Emily came on another thread, and I said, look, just try and list out the problems that you think, we could share. And her response was, go on. So she either didn't know what I was talking about, or she had no idea. She drew a blank, and so I went on to explain it that two guys might be able to talk about computers and that sort of thing. Two women might be able to talk about makeup or whatever. And I didn't get a response from it. I said, yeah, well, see, there you go. You're drawing a blank, aren't you? And I saw what I wrote, and I thought, yeah, that's what I was describing just the other day. I was actually saying women seem to have this blank look on their face. When it comes to conversation, they can't create conversation. It's like they're drawing a blank. I thought, voila, boomba, right there. Yeah, because when you think about a mutually acceptable problem to discuss, it's not there. I think, to be fair, guys, I could be wrong here, but tend to just discuss male-orientated problems anyway. And this is what they might mean about equality. Why have we got to listen to your problems? What about our problems? We don't like your problems. Yeah, well, we don't like your problems. That could actually be right very. What is it down in the id and all that sort of thing? Not the no, there's nothing about wages. It's about problems. that we can discuss. And so maybe, and you know, if it gets down to it, you know, maybe that's why we create problems for one another. So we've got something to talk about that's unique. Um, yeah, I've actually, I've actually had a couple of experiences recently with two separate lots of Filipino women. Yeah, who were sort of saying, yeah, I have a sisters. You know, why don't you come here and live with both of us? Oh, well, gee, that'd be him and two hers, and just imagine the problems you get there. Oh, that could be rather entertaining and interesting, I think. But you know, I won't go there. But that's sort of on the cards. So anybody's looking for a bit of Alan, you know, when your nicotine withdrawal symptoms really get to you, yeah, really consider the sisters. It could introduce complexity to your life that is unfathomable. Yeah, it's probably not so much taboo that just no man would do it. He's not that stupid. But it'll keep your mind off your withdrawal symptoms. Anyway, so I asked Emily to list out the problems, and she couldn't. She couldn't think of one, and I thought, well, I can't either. When I just sit here and think about it, I think, what could Emily and I, what problems could we discuss? Yeah, you just draw a blank. Well, there's no, I mean, you just can't, you know, what, politics, the weather. I mean, the weather's boring to begin with, and you know, her weather's different to my weather. So yeah, you're faced with drawing a blank. And so, you know, when you're standing still, it's just you're lost. You know, and I think this is what happens. This is one of the major problems. You need to actually make conversation, and to do that, you need to move. And that's, I think, the subject of another video. Whether it should be on mgtow channel or not, I don't know. I really don't think it belongs here, but so the reason I'm doing this is I'm getting more and more interested in it because I think it's a major factor in, you know, poor relations everywhere, and nobody ever discusses it. You know, it's not something, you know, what do we talk about? How do we have conversation? You know, I've never had that sort of discussion with anybody. Actually, this is the first time I've thought about it a lot, but nobody's out there saying, yeah, what do we talk about? How do we discuss it? It just seems to be a taboo topic for some reason. Yet I'd suggest it's causing 98% of the trouble between men and women. I'd say when it got right down to it, I'd say most of it comes from we just can't talk. Yeah, so I'll do. I'm planning on doing another channel. At least I'm thinking about doing another channel that's devoted to just conversation and how to do it and create it and make it. I think it's something that's needed. I'll probably, God knows what sort of trolls I'll get there, or who I'll attract. But I really think that's I think that's something I should do. I'm just probably not up to the weathering the new lot of trolls. Because you never know where they'll come from or what they'll be like, or who they'll be. But anyway, it's been good talking to you, and I'll talk to you again soon. Make a little list, just of the problems you think you can discuss with, you know, with somebody. Good luck. Bye.